Keyboard High School. I'm Kate DiPaolo.
And I'm Danica Borzo.
Welcome to the first episode of Alumni Spotlight of the school year. This is a segment which features a special graduate each month and see what they're doing today. Today we're joined by Janet Gallo, a proud graduate of the class of '98. It's so nice of you to join us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tell us about your current career path.
So currently I'm a small business owner. I own a yoga studio and Keyboard, Pro Yoga and Fitness, and I also am the head coach for field hockey at Keyboard. And I will be starting the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls basketball team. I'm going to be starting coaching that this season.
Tell us a little bit about your high school experience. What was it like to be a student at that time?
So I loved high school. I was one of those persons who didn't want to miss a day. I loved it. If I was sick, I didn't want to stay home. I played field hockey in the fall, basketball in the winter, and softball in the springtime. So I was a 3-sport athlete, and I loved that the school was small.
It's like a family.
Yeah, so I liked that it was very consistent. The athletes that went from one season to the next, we all were very close. And also, we used to play field hockey at the football field.
Yeah.
So back then, our field was the football field. So fall was my favorite season because it just felt like everybody was, cross country was there. We had cross country back then. So every fall it would be like the cross country team running around, field hockey on the field, football on another field. And it was just a really fun season, my favorite season.
Tell us how you chose to be a boss and what did you do to further your education?
So I chose to be my own boss in 2017. So prior to that, I was working for other people. And I went from Keyboard High School to Monmouth University, where I played field hockey. So when I was a senior here, I didn't care about really academics in terms of college. It was really all about I want to play Division I field hockey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was it. I didn't pick a school based on academics. I didn't, which people would say well, no, you should care more about that, but I'm just keeping it real. I was an athlete and that's what I cared about. And so Monmouth University was just starting a team. And so I believe it was their second season when I was recruited. And so I was super excited just to be able to play a sport in college. That was the most important thing to me. And then, so that decision was the priority, and then it seems like everything else kind of followed after that. Mm-hmm. And while I played field hockey in college and then continued to do recreational sports afterwards and stay fit and in shape, I was doing more professional work with computer, behind the desk with computers. And then eventually, 34 years old, I decided that I was in love with yoga. I knew that yoga was something I could do for the rest of my life, teach yoga, right? So there are some sports that are a little bit more intense and physically demanding that I might not be able to do in my 50s, 60s, and 70s. Field hockey is one of them. So I decided that I would open up a yoga studio in Keyport. So I did that, and fortunately, a couple years after, the high school head coach position came open for field hockey, and I was super excited to have been referred by the coach that coached me.
Yeah.
So Sal Principe,
Oh, okay.
so he referred me to the then athletic director, and I knew all of the traditions because I had him as a coach. So when I took the position, the 5K he instated the team running in the Keyboard 5K. He did that because he loved running. Running was his jam. So I, kept that. He also started the alumni game, the Keyboard Field Hockey alumni game. And so when I started head coaching, when I started as assistant coach, I reinstated that, and we had so many people that come back for that. So many people that he coached, because he coached for 23 years, that come back, so many alumni. And I added my own, which was taking a college trip to see a game at a college level. Yeah, so that the team could be inspired and see like this is the level that is possible to play at.
And I know they like doing that because I know some people on the field hockey team, they actually like enjoy watching it.
Yes. We didn't have, I don't think we did it when I was in high school, but I know that as a younger person I would have appreciated seeing, that
See how it works.
next level, like, wow, it's inspiring. Like, I would love to be able to do that one day, So, that's it.
What's your favorite thing about being a small business owner?
So, my favorite thing is meeting people, and people specifically who appreciate the services that my business offer. So, getting positive feedback that yoga is making the quality of people's lives better is the reward. So someone saying like, oh, I can squat now and it doesn't hurt, or my lower back isn't bothering me as much, or yoga's changed my life, coming here and taking classes has changed my life. Like, that's everything. It's everything to get that feedback.
Because then it makes you feel good, like you're doing the right thing.
That's exactly what it is. I feel like it's a high five from the universe. Like, you're good. Keep doing what you're doing. You're in the right place. You're living out one of your purposes. So keep going. Yep.
What are the duties of being your own boss?
So, me specifically, because people can, as a small boss, as a boss in a small business, I could have multiple people that work for me, or I could have just a few people that work for me. And in my case, I have a few people. So part of my job is managing the schedule for the studio, marketing, so not just distinguishing what the services that we offer are, but also marketing them to people and getting in front of people that I think would benefit from them. So those two things probably take up the majority of my time. It's like refining our services and then trying to get them in front of the people who would most benefit from them. Then I do teach the classes as well. And then there's back-end stuff, which is payroll, so paying the people that are working at the studio. There's facilities management, so taking care of the studio itself, making sure it gets cleaned twice a month, or however often we need to have somebody come in and clean the studio, making sure that it has all the supplies that it needs. So there's a number of different areas, and pretty much as a small business owner, it's my job to make sure if I'm not doing it, that somebody else is doing it.
What would you consider one of the biggest challenges when you're working?
Probably, there's a lot of challenging aspects, but one of the ones that often comes up is getting people that are either going to work for me or want to work to evaluate whether they're as passionate about it as I am. It's hard to find people who are as passionate about serving my community as I am. Mm-hmm. And I would totally expect that, right? Because I'm the business owner, I'm the one who had the vision and opened. So finding people who are also as excited about delivering the services and being as passionate about the brands as I am, that's probably the most challenging part.
Is that why you have fewer employees than another?
Yes.
Like you were saying before?
Yes, definitely, absolutely. Because it's important to me, and I would assume other small business owners as well, but for me it's important. I would rather have a smaller team that is dedicated to the community than have a large team that is fragmented and maybe not consistent in delivering the services in the manner that works for the community and is that appropriate for the brand. So yes, I would. Small teams can do big things. So
kind of like Keyboard High School.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's exactly like you were. That's
So
a
you
great
don't-
analogy.
You don't want somebody that's working there just for the money. You want someone that actually cares.
100%. It's a quality over quantity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quality over quantity. So
Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you feel the students at KHS should know about becoming a small business owner?
So I would say that before taking, that one, it's possible, okay? And two, the timing is important. So working for somebody else is a wonderful prerequisite or wonderful start to the conversation. So for example, if I had started my small business 20 years ago, I don't know that I would have had the appreciation for all that goes into it. I worked for small, medium, and large organizations, and I believe having all of the experiences from those definitely just provided the foundation and gave me the confidence to say, I think I could do this. I could go out on my own. But I would say that it's important to evaluate honestly and have other people evaluate honestly where you're at and what your strengths and weaknesses are, and how are they going to play out if you decide to open a business, because it's time consuming. It's easy to open and start a business.
Yeah.
It's easy to do. Anybody could do it. You could do it at your age. It's putting together something that is that you're consistently offering and putting it in front of the people that it's meant for, showing up every day, knowing that nothing's coming in unless you're doing work, right? So my days off, I can have, we'll call it passive income, right? Where I'm getting sales and I'm off that day, right? So that's cool. Everybody's like, oh, I'm not working and I'm making money. That's awesome, right? But there's a lot of work that goes into setting that up. And then of course managing the expectations of the people that are buying things, so customer service. So what I would say is, where was I going with that? Oh, I was saying, you were asking me about what I would tell the people. So it's, really evaluating where you're at and how you're going to manage those things, being honest, having people that are close to you say, there's going to be a lot of times where you're working when other people are not, right? Because they're in the 9 to 5, they come home and you're still working. So I just feel anybody could start a business, but I would encourage them to really take inventory of their strengths and weaknesses, because it costs money.
Yeah.
It costs money and you don't want to just open and close. So many businesses open and close. They say the statistics for small businesses, it's, and that's fine if you have money that you could just invest, and if you lose it, you lose it, but I think most people want to make money back.
Yeah.
So I would say just being honest and taking inventory, having a plan, knowing how the income is going to be sustained over time. And I did it later in life, so I obviously am a proponent of getting world experience, learning how other people do it, and then, coming up with your own expression and representation of that.
That's all the time we have today. The crew of TV Club would like to personally thank you for your time, which we know is so precious. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Bye.